Okay, so we are doing lesson 6 today. We're now going to start solving radical functions. So we've dealt with rewriting them in different forms. If we have a radical expression, or yesterday we did graphing the transformations of them. So let's now solve, okay? So we're on lesson 6. We'll have 2 more lessons this week. Then we have a quiz on Monday. Next Tuesday, we have our last lesson, and we will do quiz retakes and performance tasks after that. And then the following week and a half after that, we will review for the final and then have the final. So we are going to solve radical equations and be able to support graphically. We don't do that all the time. You can always check with your calculator. I'll show you by hand with one problem. Okay, so this is the problem I'm going to show you by hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to graph these in different colors. So let me jump over where I can write this. So if I do square root of x plus 4 in one color, so y equals square root of x plus 4, that means you go left 4, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3 from that point. Remember that? Okay, so that's that. And then, let's see, I'm going to do a different color. I'll do y equals 3. Ooh, kind of got a little not so straight. But here's where they intersect. That means whatever the x is there, which it looks like it's 5, the solution to this is x equals 5. All right, now the next equation, the first part's the same. So square root of x plus 4, I've already graphed it. Now, the second part is negative x plus 2. So this is a line with a y-intercept of 2 and a negative slope. So there's the y-intercept, negative 1 slope. Okay, and you can see easily where they intersect. Okay, they intersect at 0, 2. So that means when x is 0. Okay, so that's how to see it graphically. Where do both sides of the equation touch? Okay, now because I did 2 on that one graph, that might be a little confusing, but it's where this side touches this side and where this side touches that side. That's where you get those solutions, okay? So now let's solve it algebraically. I'm going to do the one on the left first. So it is square root of x plus 4 equals 3. The goal with solving these is you need to get the radical, or the root, whatever, all by itself on one side of the equation. So square root of x plus 4 is by itself. So we have to get rid of the square root, and we're going to do that by squaring it. So I get x plus 4 equals 9. And then we finish solving. I got to subtract 4, and I get x equals 5, which is what I said right here. So that is true. Okay. Now, one thing, I've already checked this by graphing. But on these other problems where we're not graphing it, you either check it in your calculator by graphing it, or you are going to need to plug it in and check. But because we can see I already showed it by graphing, I don't need to do that with that one. So let's do the other equation. I'll split it here. So square root of x plus 4 equals negative x plus 2. So my radical is all by itself, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. So it's a square root, means I take it to the power of 2. And that leaves me with x plus 4 equals, let's see, x squared minus 4x plus 4. And then we want to, it's x squared, so I see I have a quadratic. Let's move everything to one side. So I'm going to subtract the x, and I'm going to subtract the 4. I'm just going to move everything all at once. So I get 0 equals x squared minus 5x, and then that is 0. So I can factor it from here to solve for x. X goes into both things, and I'm left with an x minus 5. So remember, when we solved quadratics and we have it factored, each factor is equal to 0. So I have 0, And I have x minus 5 equals 0, which tells me x is a positive 5. Okay. Now, I have two answers here, where over here it told me x equals 0. So I know this is my answer. That's a way to check. If you don't graph it and you need to check, this is where you just plug it into the original equation. So if I'm going to check this one, I have square root. Instead of x, I'm going to put a 5. And again, instead of an x, I put that 5. So I get square root of 9 does not equal negative 3. That's why that cannot work. Okay? Or graph them like we do, and you see that it has to be the 0. Okay. Now, if I'm going too fast, pause the end of this video or pause it right now or whatever. I'm going to stop this recording and record the next two problems in a new video so that you can kind of catch up. I know I talk a little fast when I'm recording. I will try to control that a little bit.